There is something absolutely fascinating about the way we humans approach the business of living. We walk around with our hands in tight fists, clutching at everything we can get our fingers on. We clutch at money, we clutch at relationships, we clutch at our plans, and perhaps most desperately of all, we clutch at our ideas about who we are supposed to be. And then, in the midst of all this white-knuckled holding on, we wonder why we feel so tired, so anxious, so perpetually dissatisfied. We have got ourselves into the most peculiar predicament. We take this whole affair of existence so dreadfully seriously, as if it were a final examination where one wrong answer could doom us to eternal failure. But what if I were to tell you that the secret to possessing everything is to hold on to nothing? What if I told you that the only way to truly control life is to let it go? It sounds like a contradiction, doesn't it? A paradox. But life is full of such paradoxes. Consider for a moment the act of trying to carry water in your cupped hands. It is a simple enough task, but notice what happens if you try to grab the water, if you try to squeeze it to make sure you have it secure. The tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips through your fingers. You are left with nothing but a wet hand and a sense of frustration. But if you cup your hands gently, if you allow the water to rest there without trying to dominate it, it stays. It remains cool and refreshing right there in your palms. This is the great secret, the open secret that we seem to miss again and again. That the more you let go, the more life gives you. Not less, more. Now, I must be very clear about what I mean by letting go, because there is a tremendous amount of nonsense spoken about this. People think letting go means becoming a vegetable. They think it means becoming passive, indifferent, or irresponsible. They imagine that if they stop worrying and striving, they will lose their ambition, they will stop caring for their families, and they will simply drift into oblivion. This is absolute rubbish. Letting go is not about dropping out of life. It is about dropping into life. It is the difference between swimming upstream against a raging current, exhausting yourself, swallowing water, panicking, and learning to turn around and move with the water, using its immense power to carry you forward. The person who floats downstream is moving much faster than the person swimming upstream, and yet they are using a fraction of the effort. Think about a master musician, a violinist perhaps. When she plays, are her fingers gripping the bow with a death grip? Is she terrified that the bow will fly out of her hand? Of course not. If she held it too tightly, the music would sound screechy, forced, mechanical. But if she held it too loosely, the bow would fall and there would be no music at all. She has found the perfect middle way, a dynamic balance where she is in control precisely because she is relaxed. She is holding on, yes, but she is also letting go in every moment. We need to approach our lives with this same artistry. We need to abandon the death grip of the person terrified of losing control and adopt the confident relaxation of someone who understands that control was always an illusion anyway. You see, we live under this tremendous delusion that we are supposed to be the directors of the cosmic play. We think that if we just plan hard enough, worry sufficiently, and furrow our brows deeply enough, we can force reality to bend to our will. But life has other ideas. Life is like a great river, and we are like leaves floating on its surface. We can choose how we navigate the eddies, but we cannot choose the direction of the river itself. Let me tell you a story that illustrates this perfectly. There was once a man who owned a beautiful garden. He was obsessed with it. He spent every waking moment tending it, but his tending was actually a form of warfare. He worried about every leaf. He tried to control every aspect of growth. He would stand over his plants, practically screaming at them to grow faster, to grow straighter, to be more beautiful. He would rage at the clouds when it rained too much and curse the sun when it shone too hot. He lay awake at night, trembling with anxiety about pests and diseases. And do you know what happened? His garden was a disaster. The plants looked stressed, stunted, lacking that natural vitality that makes a garden truly magnificent. He was suffocating the very thing he claims to love. Then one day, completely exhausted by years of this futile struggle, he simply gave up. Now, he didn't abandon the garden, he didn't stop watering or weeding, but he surrendered his need to control every detail. He continued to work, but with a different quality of attention, a lighter touch. He did his part, and then he stepped back. He allowed the garden to be itself. And the result? Magical. The plants began to flourish in ways he had never seen. The garden developed its own personality, its own rhythm, its own unique beauty that was far superior to his rigid plans. By letting go of his need to force the outcome, he created the space for the outcome to be wonderful. This is exactly what happens in our lives. We are that gardener. We are constantly pulling up our own roots to see if we are growing. We are constantly analyzing our happiness to see if it is enough. We are constantly trying to force people to love us, force careers to happen, force the future to arrive before its time. And in doing so, we wither. The more we release our grip on how things should be, the more space we create for things to be wonderful in ways we never could have imagined. But here is the sticking point, the place where we all hesitate. Most of us are terrified of letting go because we think it means we will lose everything. We have this deep-seated belief that if we aren't constantly vigilant, if we aren't constantly worrying, the whole structure of our lives will collapse into chaos. But this fear is based on a fundamental misunderstanding about who you are and what this universe is. You are not a stranger here. You are not a separate, isolated ego struggling to survive in a hostile world. You are the universe experiencing itself through this particular pattern called you. Think about your own body for a moment. Consider your heartbeat. Do you have to remember to beat your heart? Do you have to lie in bed at night, concentrating furiously, saying, "Pump, pump, pump," for fear that if you drift off to sleep, you will die? Of course not. Your heart beats by itself. It beats perfectly, efficiently, responding to your needs without any conscious effort from you whatsoever. You don't digest your food by willpower. You don't heal your cuts by planning the cellular reconstruction. You don't breathe yourself. You are breathed. This immense intelligence, this biological wisdom, is happening as you right now. And yet, we trust our hearts to beat, but we don't trust life to unfold. We trust our lungs to breathe, but we don't trust the universe to support us. When you let go, you are not abandoning control to chaos. You are simply admitting that the part of you that thinks it is in control, that chattering little voice in your head, is not the part of you that runs the show. You are allowing the deeper wisdom of existence to work through you. The things you are most afraid of losing by letting go are often the very things that are holding you back. You hang on to a job that makes you miserable because you fear insecurity. But by letting go of that fear, you might open yourself to work that actually fulfills you. You hang on to a relationship that has turned sour because you are terrified of being alone. But by releasing that grasp, you open the door to a genuine connection, perhaps with another, or perhaps most importantly, with yourself. We act as if life is a journey with a serious destination, a place we must reach to finally be happy. We rush through childhood to get to adulthood, rush through work to get to retirement, always thinking the prize is at the end. But life is not a journey in that sense. It is musical. It is a dance. When you listen to a symphony, you don't listen just to hear the final crashing chord. The point of the music is the music itself, every phrase, every movement. If you are dancing, you don't aim to arrive at a particular spot on the floor. The meaning is in the dancing. But we have turned life into a race. We are so busy trying to get somewhere else that we miss the only place we ever actually are, which is here. Letting go means realizing that the game is happening now. It means realizing that you don't have to wring the neck of the present moment to get what you want out of it. You can simply be with it. You can play with a light touch. It is like being a jazz musician. You know the rhythm, you know the structure, but you are not forcing the notes into a rigid box. You are improvising. You are responding to what is happening around you. If the drummer changes the beat, you change with him, you flow. Most people approach life as if they are trying to play a classical concerto with a conductor who will shoot them if they miss a note. They are terrified of mistakes. But in the great jazz improvisation of life, there are no mistakes, only new opportunities for the next phrase. So how do we do this? How do we practically unclench the fist? It begins by understanding a concept the Chinese call Wu Wei. It is often translated as non-action, which sounds terribly lazy to Western ears. But it doesn't mean doing nothing. It means effortless action. It means acting in accordance with the grain of things. It is the difference between forcing a stuck door and finding the hidden latch. The door opens either way, but one leaves you exhausted and bruised, while the other is elegant and simple. When you force, you are blind to what is actually there because you are so focused on your idea of what should be there. When you let go, you see the latch. You see the opportunities you missed when you were blindingly focused on your predetermined goals. Consider the problem of finding love. This is where the irony of control is most laughable and most tragic. We go through life shopping for completion, terrified that we are incomplete. We dress up, we practice our smiles, we manipulate, we strategize. We try to make someone love us. We treat romance like a military conquest. But what fuels this pursuit? It is not love, it is need, raw, desperate need. And people feel that neediness. It repels them. It is heavy. When you are desperate to be loved, every act of kindness you offer carries a silent plea. Love me back, validate me. You are a beggar with a golden bowl, begging for pennies, unaware that the bowl itself is gold. But when you let go of the need to use another person to complete you, something shifts. You realize you are not half a person waiting for your other half. You are the whole thing. You are the universe experiencing itself. When you know this, the desperate hunger quiets down. You stop scanning every room for a savior. And paradoxically, this is when you become most attractive. Because you are no longer asking for something. You are radiating something. You are coming from a place of fullness, not scarcity. You are free to love without clinging, and that freedom is magnetic. You see, you can only truly hold someone if you don't clutch them. If you clutch, you strangle the relationship. If you hold with an open hand, the other person is free to stay. And because they are free, their staying actually means something. It is like water flowing around a rock. The water doesn't fight the rock. It doesn't stand there and argue with it. It simply flows around it, yielding, soft. And yet, over time, that soft, yielding water wears away the hard rock. This is the power of the gentle approach, the power of letting go. We must learn to trust that the feast is real. We act like we are starving at a banquet, hoarding stale bread rolls in our pockets because we are afraid the food will run out. We are so busy protecting our little stash of security, our little ideas, our little status, that we miss the incredible abundance that is being offered to us in every single moment. You have consciousness. You have the ability to perceive beauty. You have this moment. You are breathing. You are alive. When you stop grasping for more, you can finally appreciate what is. And when you appreciate what is, life rushes in to give you more, not as a reward for your struggle, but as a natural consequence of your openness. The more you let go, the more you discover that you were never really in control anyway. That sense of control you were fighting so hard to maintain, it was a hallucination. You are being lived by forces far greater than your ego. And once you admit this, the fear of falling dissolves. You realize there is no ground to hit. You are simply floating. Now, I can hear the gears turning in your mind. Some of you are thinking, all right, Alan, I understand. I see the logic of it. I am going to let go. I am going to relax if it kills me. You clench your jaw, you furrow your brow, and you say to yourself, I must stop trying to control things. Do you see the absurdity of this position? You are trying to use control to get rid of control. It is like trying to smooth out rough water with a flat iron. The more you press, the more you disturb the surface. It is like a thief trying to rob the police station. The very agent of the action is the problem. This is where we hit the real knot of the problem. We think there is a me, a little executive homunculus sitting inside our heads behind the eyes who has the power to let go. But this me is the very thing that is holding on. The ego is nothing more than a chronic tension, a muscular contraction against the present moment. Asking the ego to let go is like asking a clenched fist to pick up a feather. It has to stop being a fist first. So you ask, if I can't try to let go, what on earth do I do? This is the most difficult thing to convey in words, because our language is built on the idea of a subject doing a verb to an object. But the secret is this: you don't let go. Letting go happens to you. It happens when you finally see with absolute clarity that holding on is impossible. You don't have to try to drop a red-hot coal, you just drop it. The moment you realize it is burning you, the letting go happens spontaneously. In the same way, when you truly see that your anxiety, your worrying, your desperate maneuvering are not protecting you, but are actually burning you, and more than that, when you see that they are futile, that you never actually had control in the first place, the grip relaxes on its own. You discover that the you were so worried about preserving is a ghost. It is a story. We are method actors in the theater of life who got so absorbed in the role that we forgot we were acting. We think we are the mask, but the mask cannot let go of the mask. The actor behind it must simply remember who he is. And who are you? You are not a separate entity brought into this world. You are an event that grows out of it. You are the universe expressing itself as a human being for a little while. When you truly understand this, not just intellectually, but in your marrow, the fear of letting go dissolves because you realize there is nothing to lose. What can the ocean lose? It is all water. You are the ocean temporarily expressing itself as a drop. The drop may change form, it may evaporate, it may fall as rain, but the water remains. This realization changes how you deal with the rough waters of life. It changes how you deal with pain. We must make a distinction here, a crucial one, between pain and suffering. Pain is physical. It is the nerve signal that says, ouch, that's hot, or the grief that says, I miss my friend. That is natural. That is part of the game. But suffering is the story you tell yourself about the pain. Suffering is the resistance. Suffering is saying, this shouldn't be happening to me. It's unfair. I can't stand it. Suffering is the extra layer of tension you add to the pain by trying to push it away. When you let go, you don't stop feeling pain. You might still feel sad or hurt or afraid, but you stop fighting the feeling. You let the fear be there. You let the sadness be there. And a strange thing happens when you stop fighting your emotions. They transform. Fear, when fully felt without resistance, often turns into excitement or alertness. Sadness, when fully embraced, softens into compassion. By letting go of the need to fix your feelings, you allow them to flow through you like weather, and weather always changes. This brings us to the art of living in the world of form, of jobs and families and responsibilities, while holding this secret knowledge. Does letting go mean you stop making plans? Does it mean you just sit on a rock and wait for moss to grow on you? Good heavens, no! It means you plan, but you plan with a different spirit. You hold your plans lightly, like a bird resting in your palm. Your grip is firm enough that the bird feels secure, but loose enough that if it needs to fly away, it can. You don't crush the bird with your expectations. If your plan works out, wonderful. You enjoy the surprise. If it doesn't, wonderful. You enjoy the new path that has opened up. You see, for the person who has let go, there are no failures. There are only experiments. There are only plot twists in the great drama. Problems become puzzles to solve rather than disasters to avoid. You become a curious participant in the dance rather than a victim of it. This is the concept of relaxed confidence. You do your best, you put in the effort, and then, and this is the key, you release the outcome to the universe. You recognize that the result is out of your hands, and it always was. This doesn't make you passive, it makes you incredibly effective because you aren't wasting 90% of your energy on anxiety. You have all that energy available for creativity, for love, for the actual living of your life. Imagine the freedom of that. Imagine walking into a room and not needing anyone to approve of you because you know you are already whole. Imagine loving someone without needing to possess them, allowing them to be exactly who they are. Imagine facing the unknown future not with trembling dread, but with the wide-eyed wonder of a child watching a magic show, delighted to see what rabbit will be pulled out of the hat next. This is the life that is waiting for you. It is not a life without challenge, but it is a life without the crushing weight of trying to carry the world on your shoulders. And here is the final beautiful irony of it all. The more you let go, the more you actually receive. You stop blocking the flow. You stop pinching the hose. When you stop grasping for affection, you become affectionate, and people are drawn to you. When you stop grasping for security, you become adaptable, which is the only true security there is.
You become like a hollow bamboo, empty of self, empty of obstruction, so that the wind of the universe can blow through you and make music. So, my friends, the invitation is open. The water is waiting. You have been treading water for so long, paddling frantically against a current you cannot defeat. You are tired. I know you are tired. Why not try something else? Why not stop fighting? Why not lean back, spread your arms, and see what happens when you finally, truly trust the river? You will not sink, you will float, and the current will take you exactly where you need to go.